Remember when we had metal at the Eurovision Song Contest?
Hard rock, hallelujah. Hard rock, hallelujah.
It was glorious! And then it never really happened again. To be fair, I don't really keep up with Eurovision, so maybe some metal band or hard rock band was there in the years after or before Lordi made their appearance at the festival, but listen, most of Eurovision is just not really my style of music, so anyway, I guess some people are gonna argue that Lordi is more of a hard rock band, but given their aesthetic, I feel like in this instance it's more of like tomato-tomato kind of semantic situation. And it did not stop many a metalhead from tuning into Eurovision in 2006, and the song contest has never really been known for having a lot of heavy music at all. As a matter of fact, Lordi's song Hard Rock Hallelujah was the first heavy metal song ever to win the Eurovision Song Contest. And at the time, the band had the highest score ever at the contest with 292 points total. Audiences loved this band with their unusual act, dressed in elaborate horror costumes and shooting pyrotechnics. And while you can say Hard Rock Hallelujah is a groundbreaking song, it is just good old hard rock fun and an homage to awesome guitar music. And it was probably responsible for getting a lot of people into heavy music that maybe weren't into it before Eurovision 2006. It was also a moment of national pride for Finland, since they won Eurovision for the first time ever in 45 years of participating, the longest any country had participated without a win. Another fun fact, and more proof the Finns are probably the most metal people on Earth, they broke the Guinness World Record for karaoke when about 80,000 people gathered to sing Hard Rock Hallelujah in Helsinki's Market Square on May 26, 2006. To celebrate their victory in Eurovision. That's seriously amazing. Okay, so then what happened to Lordi? They still exist, and in fact they released their 19th studio album this year, 2025, on March 21st. It's called Limited Edition. Get it? And the band still seems fairly successful, especially in Europe and their home country of Finland. Now, obviously, the band saw the most success around the time they participated in Eurovision, but they were not a gimmick band cooked up specifically for the contest, and actually they formed all the way back in 1992. Or rather, it all started as a solo project by Mr. Lordi, the band's lead singer, songwriter, and costume designer and creator. This man works hard, respect. In 1993, Mr. Lordi recorded a first demo titled Napalm Market, which included the song Inferno that got a music video all done by Mr. Lordi and features his friends in monster makeup while he himself didn't wear a mask. This is how he got the idea to continue performing in monster costumes. In 1996, Mr. Lordi helped organize a cruise for Finnish Kiss fans, as if the Kiss influence wasn't really obvious already in the band's music. And that's where he met more people to help out with his music project. Lordi was now a proper band, though they still missed a drummer. In 1997, they recorded their first album titled Bend Over and Pray the Lord, though unfortunately it didn't get released since the record label that was going to publish it went bankrupt. The band never performed with their original lineup and has in fact seen several changes in members throughout the years, with Mr. Lordi being the only consistent member. Between 1997 and 2002, Lordi struggled to land a recording contract, but the band finally managed to sign a deal with BMG in 2002, and in July they released their first official single, Would You Love a Monster Man? In November of 2002, the band would release their debut studio album Get Heavy. This album was a first major success for Lordi and became certified platinum in Finland in 2003 and multi-platinum in 2006 and won the award for Best Domestic Hard Rock or Heavy Metal Album. Now, with the release of this album and their first single, things were finally going well for Lordi, and they played their first gig ever on December 8, 2002 in Helsinki. The next year they played several shows in Finland and abroad. And they played as a support act for Nightwish during their German tour, and this raised both bands' popularity in Germany and other countries in Europe. Lordi released their second album, The Monstericon Dream, on April 14, 2004, and in 2005 released a compilation album titled The Monster Show. after Mr. Lordi got to interview Kiss bassist Gene Simmons for Inferno magazine, and gave him a copy of Get Heavy. And so the band got to publish the monster show via American label Sanctuary Records. Now 2006 was the year for the band. They released their third studio album titled The Apocalypse, and they and their song Hard Rock Hallelujah won the contest to represent Finland at Eurovision. Now back in the day, many Finns didn't think Lordi's selection was a good idea until they won, of course. The band's costumes and the Hard Rock Hallelujah music video stirred up some controversy. Mr. Lordi had to insist that the band had nothing to do with Satanism or devil worship or any of that stuff that metalheads and hard rock bands often have to deal with, and that his intentions with the band and the band's look and music was to entertain. Now, to be fair, this controversy mostly came from religious groups and never put a dent in the band's popularity. Though another downside to all of that fame was that some newspapers and magazines went against the band's wishes to remain anonymous, and their names and some unofficial photos of them without costumes and makeup were published against their will. Either way, the album The Apocalypse got triple platinum in Finland and was very successful in Europe and the US. The album featured Dee Snider and JJ French from Twisted Sister, Udo Dirkschneider from legendary German band Accept, and Bruce Kulick from Kiss, and so Lordi cemented itself as one of Europe's great new heavy metal bands. In July 2007, the band toured with Ozfest in North America, and in October they toured with Type O Negative. On October 29, 2008, Lordi released their fourth studio album, Deadache, and while it didn't do as well as the previous album, Mr. Lordi said that was to be expected because the Eurovision appearance did a lot to boost the Apocalypse sales. They toured the US again and got to perform their single Bite Like a Bulldog on the NBC show Late Night with Conan O'Brien. In 2010, the band released their fifth studio album, Babes for Breakfast, and isn't that just great cover art? In 2012, they released a compilation CD plus DVD titled Scarchives Volume 1 to celebrate Lordi's 20th anniversary, and contains previously unreleased old songs and the entire unreleased album Bend Over and Pray the Lord from 1997. Between 2012 and 2020, Lordi continued touring and released 4 more albums: To Beast or Not to Beast, Monstereophonic, Sexorcism, and Collection, with that last one being their 10th album. And if you've been paying close attention, maybe you're wondering, wait a minute, didn't you just say that they released their 19th album? So 9 more albums in just 5 years? Well, yeah, during the COVID-19 pandemic, Mr. Lordi and the band just had a lot of time on their hands and a lot of creative juices were flowing, I suppose, and so they decided to make and release a box set of no less than 7 albums in total. Mr. Lordi wanted to do 10 albums, but the record company said, no, that's too much. True story. And make no mistake, they're proper full-length albums too. The shortest one is about 30 minutes and the longest one is about 45 minutes. And each album has a different musical style with influences ranging from the classic Kiss and Alice Cooper style that was always an influence on the band, to Boney M and the Bee Gees, Pink Floyd, Metallica, and Pantera. And Lordi remains an actively touring band to this day. Since the Lordiversity 7-album box set, they released 2 more albums. Screamwriters Guild, get it, in 2003, and this year, Limited Edition. Get it? And can we just take a moment to appreciate some of these silly album titles and cover art? Apocalypse, Deadache, Scare Force 1, Sexorcism, and from the 7-album box set, Skeletric Dinosaur, Abusement Park, and last but not least, Spooky Sextravaganza Spectacular. That's quite a mouthful. I mean, look at this band, you just gotta embrace the cheese here, okay? It's just some fun. I just don't think metal should be 100% serious all the time anyway. But since then, Lordi has been on tour with Sabaton, and they are still a fairly popular metal act in Europe and Finland, though most of their fame just still comes from their appearance on Eurovision. They're not huge by any means, but they pump out new music all the time. Every new album comes with new costumes, all designed and made by Mr. Lordi himself, so they're busy, and they seem to be having a good time. I just think it's cool to see a band still be so dedicated to their craft with a dedicated fan base and that they can still do their thing. Even if they're not the biggest band in the world, they don't need to be. They just need to be Lordi. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this little dive into a band that maybe is not the most influential metal band ever, not exactly, but they were on the foreground for long enough to have had an impact on music fans. And I'm always for any band that can get more people into metal. The more the merrier, the more metal. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. In the meantime, be kind to each other and to yourself, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!